with that Texans defense.
911 Nashville, all new, Thursday at 9:10 Mountain on CTV.
Is this what day is this?
It's Mail It In Friday.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Here we go, OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, and up on TSN 4. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on?
What's going on, panel mate?
Yes.
How are we feeling? How are we feeling the day after what was a wild night?
As my good buddy Chris Drury just let the Rangers fans know, this show is a retool. Not a complete rebuild, a retool.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Man, the Rangers love sending letters out. Love letters to their fan base.
You only get one every 20 years, I think. I don't think you can go back to the well. I know the last one was probably 7 or 8 years ago. I don't think you can go the letter route again. Not after they're screaming mad. And I don't know what else you can do. I mean, I always say, like, there's been a lot of talk, and when I started in this business, people were like, people in Toronto will never stand for a rebuild. They'll never tear it down. Whatever market you're in has to put up with whatever you're doing. It's not like they're going to veto anything or stop it. It's like, this is what we got, so deal with it.
Yeah.
So
well,
I don't know. They're awful, though. That's all I know.
That's what happens. Whenever they're bad, it's like, just fire up a letter. You know, send a love letter out to everybody.
At least there's some, at least there's some communication, though, guys.
True enough.
People have been, where's Tom Fitzgerald? What's going on in Jersey? I guess there is questions. That being said, though, they've been dominated on home ice this year all season long, and then the last couple times have been like a 10 spot and then an 8 spot. Like, it's ugly. The fans are pissed. I just don't know if that's – I think it's different. Hayes, you can speak to this, but that's a single owner. That's one guy that Chris Drury calls up, or he calls and gets instructions from. In Toronto, in other cities and other organizations, you're answering to a board. You're answering to other entities. Dallas Cowboys.
A letter. He likes a letter. Send a letter out. If you were to pen a letter, I love saying that. Pen, you can't say write. I'm going to pen a letter to the Toronto sports fan today. What message would you send after the Leafs? They threw that game away last night. They had on 4 different occasions they had a 2-goal lead. That's almost impossible not to get 2 points. Yes, they got one, but Hurdle scores with 7 seconds left. We're all on the panel. We're all there. Everyone's watching. Like, you can feel it. You can just smell it coming. You're like, there's no way this isn't going to overtime. And then Eichel with a beauty ends it. And then while we're there waiting for the game, Tucker signs with the Dodgers. And this morning, Bichette signs with the Mets.
Crazy.
What a 24-hour rundown. So go ahead. Get your pen out. Write a letter. What are you saying to the people of Toronto?
Well, the first thing I would want to tell the people of Toronto is I see some chatter online about Austin Matthews, and I just want to address one thing. The guy's been asked about Mitch Marner a million times. He made it clear back in the summer. It's like, guys, really the Mitch questions. It seems like that's a common theme with Toronto. Like, what do you think about that? It's like, if you answer it once, like, isn't that enough? And listen, I do understand, and Mark Masters is a colleague of ours. He's also a big boy, and he was a little bit snarky with Mark, Mark's a big boy. He can handle that. But I don't know. You're in the middle of a game, and you're asked about that, and people are like, I don't know. It's just the guy's been. What?
Why don't we play it? Why don't we play it for people that missed it? So this was before the game. Masters was doing a little sit down, or I guess a quick chat with Matthews.
It's a
walk-off. Yeah, he's getting off the ice after, at the end of the warm-up. The two of them were the last ones off the ice, which is what they used to do in Toronto. Matthews and Marner. Marner shot a puck down jokingly at him, and I think Matthews saw it. I think he knew it, but This was Masters asking him about that, and the response from Austin.
Austin, you and Mitch, the last two out in warm-ups per usual. Send a puck your way there at the end. What was it like seeing him over there?
I didn't look over. I don't know. So, yeah, I think I've had enough of the Mitch questions for the day, Mark. So, yeah, let's just get ready for the game and go from there.
Message received.
Message received.
See, I don't know. You can be pissed off. There's two layers of this. Oh, I don't know how you feel about it, Brian, but like it's Matthews is getting ready for a game. I understand that. He's coming off. He's been asked a million questions. All I think about is we think of all the guys that we've played with. Would Sidney Crosby answer that question that way? Would anybody else that?
Well, not everybody's. Mike Johnson said the other day, everybody's built a little bit differently. Maybe he's like, you know what? I've had enough of this, and I want to show that it's my team still, and I want to have a good game. Did it have the best look to it? No, it didn't. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Like God, and no. Like we're talking about a guy that's coming in the building next Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone is going to boo his ass. Like as hard and loud as they can boo, and we're gonna make a big deal about this. Was it the most pleasant thing? No, but let's not just make a mountain out of a molehill here. Like, oh my goodness!
Well,
and then it turned into the back check in overtime, where it was like, look at this guy. And
it didn't end well for him. It did. Like I'm with Noodles on this. It was, there's a lot of guys. Yes, guys are wired differently. Austin's not stupid. He
could have made a joke about it and said, Mark, again with the questions, I'm going to have a great night.
It's a big night. Everyone knows it's coming. And guess what? It's coming on Friday. He's the captain. It's coming all next week. Mitch is back. What do you think? He can't sit. You can't just say, it's not necessary. It would have been so easy for him to just say, I was interested. I was doing my own thing, but we'll see what happens on the ice. You're short. Yeah. Move on. No one cares anymore. But the problem with it is I think it gets highlighted based on the ending. Like he was cherry-picking in overtime. That's what he was doing. He was hoping that the puck got loose and someone dumped it into the neutral zone and he got a breakaway. Because that's what it was. Like it was the end of a shift, sure, but it was for Eichel too. And he was cherry-picking. And, I thought this is it in overtime. We're watching it here. And sure, he's 24, 25 minutes into the game. But I think right here he's reading it like, find a way to get this thing. Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble. And Eichel ends it. But the face-off at the end of regulation, that was the biggest one-on-one play of the game. Matthews versus Eichel coming off the timeout. And he got beat clean. He got beat clean, and that allowed Vegas possession. They set up, and 7 seconds left, they tie it. So I thought he was chugging. He scored a goal. I thought he played pretty well through 40 minutes. But Austin, like everyone else, the third period, the Leafs, they are just so uncomfortable with the lead. They just sit back. They get buried. They get caved in. They give up opportunities. I don't know if it's a killer instinct. I don't know if it's a mentality. I don't know if it's nerves. I don't know what it is, but he's at the forefront of it with everyone else. And, he loses that draw. They score late. His guy beats him down the ice. It's not a great ending for him. Yeah. And Mitch Marner gets to go out and celebrate, and Vegas wins. It's a tough night in the end because, we talked about it before the game. We talked about it on the show. Last night was a big captain's game. It was a captain's night for Austin. And, he was kind of pissy with Masters and then performs the way he performs. Not the end of the world, but you look back on the night, it turns out not a great night for Matthews. Pretty good night for Marner.
Yeah, and I want to climb on that a bit, Brian. I think he played well. I think Matthews played well, but I think his comment is highlighted by the way it ended. If the Leafs win in regulation, I think that is – I don't think his comment to Masters is as the light is shined that bright. I think it's like, he was a bit pissy, but, you can chalk it up to him being focused or whatever. The fact that they lose and the fact on that play, what happens is people grab things and go, oh, well, what about that? What about this? What about that? To me, that's where I think, he's getting a little bit more maybe criticism, because if they win that in regulation, you're going, hey, what a great win, what a fun win, all of that type of stuff. Oh, no, yeah, and Masters, took a little bit from Matthews. In the end, Mark Masters is a big boy. He's a pro. Austin Matthews is the captain of the biggest hockey team in the NHL. So he knows that question's coming. I think he could have just been like, Mark, again with the question, hey, you know what? Can't wait to beat Mitch tonight, or can't wait to go at him. I think that's where maybe there was a little bit of a mistake, we'll call it. It's not that big of a deal, but I guarantee you, like, Masters could have followed up and said, well, you think this is bad now. You're going to be asked about it next week.
Coming next
100
week.
times, too,
That's
because
the thing.
Mitch is coming back. It's a bigger night, him coming back to Toronto.
Next week's way bigger.
Way bigger
Significantly
than last
bigger.
night. So I don't know. I get it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I just think it got amplified because of the ending of the game.
Yeah. And, you know, listen, he wasn't alone. Like, Morgan Riley was asked about it after the game, and Riley shot it down quickly. You know, I think it was Mark again. You know, what did you think about playing Mitch? And I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said, nothing. I didn't think anything, and moved on. Like, maybe that was their plan.
Dude, that might have been their point, where it's like, this isn't like the first time. It's like when you're constantly being asked, it's like, what about playing Mitch tonight? It's like, how many times can you say it's another game? Like, is that what everybody really wanted him to say? Well, it's just another game. Oh, okay, great answer. That's the way you do that. Instead, he's just, and we always say we'd rather these guys give some real answers. And he gave a real answer. He's like, I'm sick of talking about Mitch. I'm ready to play the game tonight. Then we say that's not the right thing to say. How stupid is that?
I hear you.
It's a fair point.
It's not a matter.
And let me just tell you this. Another thing. In Carolina, if Sebastian Aho gives that, nobody's even that's where people talk about playing in big markets. And I do understand you have to have an understanding about playing for the Maple Leafs. It's like hockey mecca, but other guys look at that and, like, if that's Sebastian Aho in Carolina, like, it's not even, nobody's even saying a word about it. And now we're blowing it up into this thing, and what are we going to do? We're going to keep razzing Austin Matthews? I'm not down with that. I'm really not. I don't think
it's about razzing him. I think it's, listen, if I believe, the part of me wants to believe he was playing to the crowd back home, which would be great. I'm not sure I believe that, because I don't think he's ever really played to the crowd. But if that was the plan, like, I'm shutting this down because Leaf fans back home that are watching don't want to hear it, or they want to see me say, I'm not talking about Mitch.
Maybe that was his plan.
If that was the plan,
pandering to the crowd.
Brilliance. If that was the plan, Jerry's percentages, 25%, that's what he was thinking. Okay, but it would land. It would land with Leaf fans.
If you don't know that was his plan, then you don't know that he was trying to be a dick to Masters. So don't make assumptions. It's got to go both ways.
Okay. Well, and I hear what you're saying. Yes, Sebastian Aho, but no one, you can't on one hand say it's an honor and it's the greatest thrill of all time, and then say, well, I wish I could be Sebastian Aho and no one care. This is what comes with it. Aaron Judge got to talk every day. Dak Prescott's got to talk every day. He's the captain of the team. I'm more intrigued by what he has to say after the game, which, again, no one's talking about. What happened at the end of the game? How are you going to get back up off the mat? That was a big blow last night. It was a great hockey game, thoroughly entertaining, like tons of back and forth action. I thought they had it on multiple occasions. When Lott made it 5-3, I'm like, it's over. And then when they got the offside call on the Dorofeev third goal that got called back, I'm like, okay, you can't possibly lose this point now.
Yeah, exactly.
But you got to reset. Like, we got started, before they went out west, saying 4 or 5 points. Like, so you got 3 now through 3 games. Not the worst. Not great, but not the worst. And I thought overall through 40 minutes, 50 minutes, they played well.
Yep.
But now you go to Winnipeg. Jets are winning a little bit more lately. It'll be an electric atmosphere again. A lot of Leaf fans, a lot of Jet fans. Saturday night, you got to find a way to get points. And I got to believe Hildeby will play. Wall wasn't on the ice today. He's played a lot recently. I think you're going with Hildeby on Saturday night. Willie, I doubt, plays. We'll see. But I doubt he plays.
What was announced? The lower body injury again? Like what?
Re-aggravation of what he used to have.
Ooh,
due to celebrations.
Based on a celebration. That's what it looked like. Like, it looked like he celebrated. He's Martin Gramatica, basically.
Yeah,
like
I was just going to say that.
He went up for the celebration.
Gramatica.
Willie Gramatica. Oh, man, that stings. And who knows, how long he's going to be out for. But, we'll
that's
see.
Concerning because if you re-aggravate an injury, you want to be 100%, but that seemed very innocent. You know what I mean? Like that, for him to, maybe it just twinged something and they're being precautionary. Like, they got a great.
But you also get to the point, Jamie, where you're like, if it only took that to re-aggravate it, we might have a bigger problem than we thought.
That's my bigger concern. is he didn't get laid out in the middle of the ice or, got run into the boards and his leg twisted or whatever the nature of the injury is. That looked very innocent, and that's concerning. They might be precautionary, but he was playing well, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
He was
that's concerning.
Cooking, man.
Yeah.
Like his set up to Riley, the goal.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't come back is, I think, the concern, right? Like he didn't.
Right.
It's not something you want to fight through, or he didn't fight through. But I mean, Willie, ever since he returned, he's been really good. And they've been playing well. Like, again, last night, it was a great game. Vegas, a really good team. Really good team. And I thought Marner, what was interesting about that game is I think it illustrated the realities of his life now and his career going forward. Like, that is Eichel and Stone's team. And it was the Eichel and Stone show last night. And Marner's going to be a big part of it. But I would use the Phil Kessel to Pittsburgh analogy. That's what it felt like to me. That was Sid and Gino and Phil. You're going to play a ton, and you got to put up numbers, and you're going to be a second, third line guy, sometimes on the top line, power play guy. But when you have Eichel playing the way he played last night, and Stone playing the way he can play, and Theodore and other pieces, Marner, yes, he's got an A on his jersey. He's an important player, really important player, but he's going to ride shotgun with those two guys.
They just start creeping towards the net, like Eichel's on the half wall, Stone's at the side of the net, Marner's at the top, and it's like this closer they creep to the net, you're like, one of these guys are going to score. And they have that threat of the Stone stuff play, kind of cross-crease play, and then they everybody collapses. They got the bump play to the slot. Like, they're going to score a ton of goals when they get – Dorofeev, that guy could just flat out
rocket
rip it
for a shot. Yeah,
rocket.
That power play is impressive, though, and Mitch is a big part of it. I've watched them play a lot this year, and the one thing he misses out on points is because he's the top of the umbrella, he's the guy who gets the puck in, distributes it, but it goes down to Eichel, down to Stone, then into either Hurdle, into Dorofeev. So Mitch misses out on the secondary assist because it's already gone down to the play. Mm-hmm. So in Toronto, everything ran through him, right? Like it ran, like he was the guy and he distributed the puck. He gets it in and he's the top of the umbrella. So I think he's missing out on some points that way, but I don't think he cares. I think they know they got a good team there. I didn't think the Leafs played well. I thought Vegas looked really tired and shaky early on. They couldn't make a pass. Their goalie wasn't very good until, he settled in, and people are talking about that ridiculous save on McMahon. Keep in mind the guy was doing he was facing in the net. Like he stopped it with the back of his legs.
It had a Hasek vibe to it, though, didn't it?
It was insane. It was an insane save, but it's like, great save, don't ever do it again type of thing from a technique standpoint.
Willie Mays Hayes kind of play.
Yeah. But, it was it had a weird feeling for me watching it because I didn't think Wall made some good saves, but I didn't think he had his A game.
Yeah,
I didn't
give
think
up 6. It's going to be a tough night. I didn't think the goalies have their greatest game, but both teams had some firepower, and Vegas is a team that kind of kept methodically chipping away at you, like they're a good team. There's something again about the Leafs in the third period with leads, they are really uncomfortable. I don't know why. I don't know what changes. Is it the way they protect the puck, the way that they break out? They seem to do a lot more just flip it out, just get it out, in the third period, or games where they've got the lead, and that's just going to lead to you being on your heels. But
buddy, it might be flat out personnel.
Could be. Could be, especially, on the defensive side. They're
back end.
Yeah, without Tanev, and we know what they have and where they're going. But ultimately now you go into Winnipeg tomorrow, and if you get 5 points, that's a great trip. It's a great trip. You get 4, it's a good trip. You get 3, it's going to be really disappointing because of how you started. Tomorrow's game is really now the linchpin for the whole 4-game trip because you beat Colorado, you had Vegas. If you can't get past Winnipeg tomorrow, then it's going to be a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
But last night, the Leaf fans that traveled, Mitch was getting booed while he touched the puck, which is pretty wild. You don't see that too often.
I didn't see that coming, though. I again, maybe that's me being naive. Do you think it's just going to be a rain of boos?
If you heard the boos in a visiting rink, you're going to hear them, I'm pretty sure, loud and clear.
So,
right or wrong, I don't care what people do when they go in that building, but I would suspect that it's going to be very loud with booze.
That's all I could think of last night because full disclosure, I was on a plane, so I watched it actually on TV, but on an app in the U.S. broadcast. So I watched Ray. I didn't get a chance to watch the TSN broadcast. And at first, Butcher Cross was like, they're booing somebody. And Ray's like, that's Mitch Marner they're booing. And he's like, no, wait. And he goes, watch. And every time he touched the puck, they're booing. And Ray goes, there was a bunch of fans. He told the story what he told on us with OverDrive, saying there was a bunch of fans that came in for it. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know. Hayes, did you think it was automatic that they were just going to boo him next Friday? Like, that's it?
Oh, yeah, I expect that. I mean, who knows? The Scotiabank Arena is a conundrum, man. It's impossible to predict. I don't know who's got the tickets. If there's more suits, then who knows?
Well, how's it going to go, Brian, when there's booing? And, then they toss up the thanks for.
Well, I was just going to say the video.
The welcome back vid? Like, what's that going to get?
It's a weird kind of psychosis. Like, there's a chance that he gets booed and then cheered during that video and then booed the rest of the night. Like, it's a weird exit, man. And the fact that, again, they just played and the way that game played out, the fact that Vegas ends up winning, the way the Leafs are going to handle it, they're not going to prop it up. Like, the players aren't, clearly. That is obviously the way they're going to operate, is we're not talking about him, we're not interested. And I appreciate that mentality. Don't get me wrong. I think that's the right play. He's not a part of your team anymore. He's not here anymore, and he's not coming back. He's gone. Right. You got to move on. You got to believe that you still have a good team, and you got to prepare for it. But that building's a weird building. How loud it's going to be, how nasty it's going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be Long Island when tomorrow.
It's not going to be anywhere close to that. It's just not the way Leaf fans are generally wired. People in Toronto aren't wired that way. When Vince Carter came back, Tracy McGrady came back, it was crazy, but different context, different crowds. But I think last night, I guess, I wasn't certain how many Leaf fans would be there. How many people were going to fly down, how many people would be in attendance. It's a crazy building. Golden Knight fans are loud. There's a lot going on in there. I wasn't sure they would allow Leaf fans to be heard, but they were last night. All right, so more on this. Mike Johnson will join us, Johnny, just after 5. We'll get into the Tucker and Bichette fallout for the Jays and Blue Jay fans and how they're trying to handle this and where it's going. The money these guys are getting.
Dude, crazy. Can I just say one thing on that? You just go to Tucker and say, this is our offer, because if you're not going to take it, I don't know why they would let – and they've been through it before. They've been dragged along, and then somebody goes to a different team. Here's our offer, take it or leave it, and then you go back to Bo. I'm disappointed Bo Bichette's not going to be a Blue Jay now.
The fact that it happened so quickly, it almost feels like Bo, waited for Tucker to go and then just landed and never picked up the call again from the Jays. But I wouldn't either, man. I wouldn't either. It was like, I've been a part of this team for a long time, a part of the main core. I've delivered offensively, and all you guys cared about was Kyle Tucker, a guy that's never played a game for this organization. How do you think that? I told you right off the hop, how do you think that make him feel? Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Maybe they see something that they didn't want to commit to. It took them a long time to sign Vladdy. A long time.
Yes.
They could have it took and they didn't get Bichette done. Something smelled like they didn't want to, move.
Certainly
move
not
the
paying
line.
$42 million a year like the Mets did. Like, that's an absurd dollar amount. Good for Bichette. It's an incredible contract. Like, the reality is, the reporting on it is, if it wasn't the Mets, it was the Phillies. There have been reports the Phillies thought they had him on a 7-year deal at $200 million, and the Mets called up when they missed out on Tucker. Basically, it's like you're gooned on Tinder and you're just like swiping. And Steve Cohen called up Bichette and just said, "Hey, what's it going to take? $42 million? Sure. Opt out after every year? Sure." And Bichette's like, "I'll play third base, second base, left field. I don't care if you're paying me $42 million." So the Jays clearly didn't have an appetite for that, or it would seem like they don't. And I do think there is two sides to the coin. It's not just Bichette, jumping from the Jays. It's how much did the Jays really pursue him? How comfortable are they with not having him here? And it puts pressure on the guys that are here, right? Like, now, Ernie Clement, you're playing, man. Ernie, you got to go. Jimenez, you're going to short. You got to play. You got to hit. Right. Anthony Santander, I think he's got a ton of pressure on him. He didn't play last year. Like, now they've lost a massive power bat in your lineup. Santander better be healthy. He better play. He better perform. They need that. So it's a big hit. But they did spend a lot earlier this offseason. They have made moves. They've been active. And he didn't sign with Boston or the Yankees. Neither of these guys signed in the American League East. So there is something you can take in that. Steve Phillips on that later this afternoon. All right, Luke and Al's brother coming up. It's been a crazy week. A lot of back and forth with HBO, trying to figure out where we land, who we're taking, who we're going to leave for you guys to take.
I like our process, though. I like
thought quality
the
process.
way quality. Everyone had everyone was understanding. There was no flying off the handle. I like our process.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you flew off the handle a couple days ago, you were saying.
But that's a part of the process, right? You throw a lot at the wall and you
I
figure
rely
it out.
on Hazy to calm me down.
And that's
good.
precisely what I'm
It's
trying
part
to
of
do.
the process.
Right?
Love
It's
it.
all about delegating. It's all about making sure everyone feels good about themselves. Everyone's a part of the team here. All right, so we'll catch up with Luke and AB. We'll do that next.
Memory of a Killer begins Sunday, January 25th on CTV.
Tomorrow on TSN 1050, catch the NFL's divisional playoffs. The Bills hit the Mile High City to take on the Broncos. Plus, the 49ers and Seahawks in the NFC West showdown. Coverage starts at 3:30 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Big weekend in the NFL. Leafs in action tomorrow. Raps playing the Clips, but of course Kawhi's not going to play. And VJ Singh currently 3 under par at the Sony.
He's on fire, VJ. Oh,
VJ is on fire. VJ is on fire.
VJ in Hawaii with his honkas and a tight beige slack. He's unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Although, quickly, before we bring our boy in, there he is. I got cornered by Hedge last night.
Why?
It's Hoka shoes, not Honka, because I guess Hedge is a supporter. Yeah, Hedge is a big supporter. And it was very unsettling last night. She was very upset that you continue to butcher the name of VJ's shoes.
I'm sponsored by Asics, so it's Honka. I'll never change.
Brand loyalty. I love it. I love it. All right, there he is, Luke Wilson. What's up, Luke? How we doing?
I'm living large here, boys. Living large. I'm excited for today. Obviously, Noodles and I, we've been in talks all day. We've been in talks all day. We've been grinding numbers, and big moment here. Very big moment.
Okay.
Feeling
all right.
good. Feeling good.
What do you make of Sam Darnold showing up on the injury report?
It's a bit worrisome, you know. I thought the whole thing was just handled a little strangely. It's like, okay, so we tweaked the oblique, I believe. Is that what they're officially calling it? And then just like the media availability, and I don't love it. I don't love the whole thing, but I got a feeling the Seahawks will be okay.
Oh, is that right? Okay, wow. You feel good about the Seahawks. Interesting. Okay.
Playing some mind games here early, Noodles. I'm playing mind games early.
Very interesting.
I love it.
Very interesting. Well, I mean, injuries are a huge part of it, right? Like it sounds like Ed Oliver, I think, has been activated for the Bills, so that's a big boost on the defensive side. And Nico Collins, I believe, out for the Texans. That's a huge hit on the offensive side. Like, we're week 2 in the playoffs, but it's a war of attrition, right? Like, how many guys can stay upright?
Especially at this time of the year, Hayes, like, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, the season resets, it's the playoffs, but the body doesn't get that reset. And for a lot of these teams, not obviously Seattle, Denver, but it's been, you know, a grind getting to this point. You know, I look at a team like the Rams as well. It's like they had to fight their way down the stretch. They're trying to win the division. They lose out on that. They get in. You think, oh, they got a layup against the Panthers. That game was wildly close. You know, they got to fly across the country there. Talking about the Carolina game, it's an interesting ordeal, you know, and it'll be fascinating. Even Buffalo here, as much as last week, you know, they won. It was a tough game. Jacksonville gave them a lot of problems. Kind of came right down the wire. Josh Allen played really well, and now all of a sudden you're going into Denver. It's going to be tough, boys. I know you're going to pick Buffalo.
Parts,
but it's
I wanted to ask you, and I'm just going to keep this general because this is for the fans, not for anything else involved in this show. What are your thoughts on Buffalo visiting Denver? Go ahead.
So I think if you watch Buffalo last week, Josh Allen right now is just playing out of his mind. He's been like that for a lot of the year. What I get nervous about with Buffalo, and this is true transparency, not for the show. Last week, I actually thought that it would be tough, but I thought they would win the battle in the trenches and eventually break Jacksonville's run defense and pop a few big ones. That did not happen. What surprised me about last week was how comfortable and how efficient Josh was operating inside the pocket. And where I get nervous for Buffalo this week is they're now facing the number 2 rush defense. And if that run game is as non-existent as it was last week, I can say with almost 100% certainty, I'll say 99, that it will not be as easy throwing the football against this secondary with this pass rush. Their defensive backs are unbelievable. I would put Surtain as the best cornerback in the game. And their pass rush is the best pass rush in the game. So that's going to cause Josh to have to really do a lot of things off schedule, which he can do. He can definitely do. We've all seen it a million times. But it's not really a great strategy when it comes to margin of error going into a game. So as boring as this sounds, O-Dog, they need to establish the run. That's just the reality of the situation. I think if they get jammed like they did last week with their run game, I don't think they're going to win this game. Now, I'm not saying they need to run for $160, but if they can hover right around that, like let's call it low 90s to $110 mark, I like Buffalo.
La troisième étoile du match ce soir, the third star, le down.
There he is, John Lennon. How are we feeling, Al's brother? Everything all good or what?
Everything's fantastic, boys. We got a big weekend, divisional series coming up. I can't wait to get into these picks, man. I feel so good. I'm back. I'm off the cruise, and it's been all football this week leading up to this next little 10 minutes here, boys.
Al's brother, just quickly, how would you summarize your season in totality? Like, what kind of season do you think you had personally with your selections?
Oh, I think we had a fantastic season. I mean, we're plus 21, like 21 games over 500. That's nothing to sneeze at here. Like, I mean, that's like asking Tom Brady, "Hey, how you feeling going into that that Super Bowl and they're undefeated?" Feel like it's been a pretty good season, but unlike Tom Brady,
the 07
we
Tom
are going
Brady
to finish it and get the ring.
The 07 Tom Brady
season. We're going to get the ring.
You said it.
Yeah.
No, not
what
07.
happened, Noodles, in 2007 again?
You guys aren't the Giants. I hate to break it to you.
All I'm saying is that, you know what, They've had a slow start to the first quarter of the playoffs.
That's all it is.
That way.
First quarter.
Maybe
right?
first
We're down
half,
like 10-7 going into the second quarter.
Oh, it might be 28-3.
Yeah, we're the cardiac Bears, boys. We're the cardiac Bears.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
Noodles,
right.
we'll stay humble.
Bears.
Let's stay humble.
Yep,
Let's stay humble.
That's
right.
all we need to do. Stay
so,
humble.
for those that maybe are not familiar with the way this works, because we had such an electric regular season and we are the 1 seed, we get to choose the 2 games we want to play. And as a result, because there's 4 games this week, the other guys, Luke, Noodles' son will pick the other 2 games.
Yeah.
So we have been going back and forth all week. We have landed on our 2 picks, I believe. We've landed on our 2 games anyway. We'll get to some tremendous information in a moment. But I think we do this in chronological order. All right, I think that makes sense. Maybe we go based on the scheduling this weekend, which means you guys are picking twice before we pick. You're on Bills, Broncos, and you're on Seahawks, Niners. Those are your 2 games. So we'll start with Broncos minus 1.5 against the Bills. Noodles, son, you are on the clock.
Yeah, we just kind of talked about it. Noodles and I, to be honest with you boys, before I even get into this, Noodles and I had this chat. I knew these would be the 2 games you guys picked because I knew that you guys wanted Buffalo, and you know that I'm not going to take Buffalo. So it's a good strategy, boys. But thank you for this absolute layup because, as you saw last week, they can't run the ball against good run defenses. Sean Payton is going to outcoach McDermott. They have the best pass rush in the game. If it wasn't for a couple games, they'd be up there with Houston's defense statistically. Okay, Sean Payton, like I said, is going to come out here, devise a game plan to destroy this Bills defense, and it's going to be up to Josh to even keep this thing close, and he can't sit in the pocket. Shavers just blew out his ACL. Who's he going to throw the ball to? Kincaid. Let's say Kincaid gets early. Let's go back. What happened when Kelsey started getting going against these guys? They moved Surtain onto him. If Kincaid warrants that in the second quarter, they'll make adjustments. We are Broncos all day. We are Broncos. Let's ride.
I love it. I love this play.
At home,
Josh Allen, the Bills as dogs.
We are Broncos all day.
Josh Allen as dogs. And here's it's interesting to me that you didn't name one player in your assessment. There's one player in particular who you chose not to talk about, and that would be Bo Nix. And this guy's underpant cam is going to be absolutely disgusting and egregious. He's going to look at Josh Allen and say, I got to go blow for blow with that cat Their offense
He's
down the
gonna
stretch.
go O-Dog at Topgolf. That's
Absolutely. It'll be the O-Dog at Topgolf in Vegas. Bo Nix is going to be put in a position where he's got to put up points. I hear what you're saying about the Broncos and their defense. I'm sorry, Josh Allen, modern football, he's going to move the ball. He's going to move the chains. They're going to put up numbers. And you're relying on Bo Nix to go blow for blow with this cat? I don't see it.
I'm relying on Sean Payton and Bo Nix.
Yeah, Sean Payton, I get it, but he's not on the field. He's not on the field.
And what's the saying? What's the saying that Al's bro always uses?
Well, though.
He always says the Sharps. I believe
Sharp
this
money.
was Buffalo favorite at the beginning of the week. Was it not?
It flipped. A complete reversal. Yep. Complete reversal.
It was.
Looks like Noodles are with the Sharps.
Ed Oliver could be a sneaky one here.
Yes.
You bring in Ed Oliver, big defensive tackle. He was monstrous for the Bills. He's a big reason why his absence, as to why they've been getting ran all over. You add him back into the fold. I believe he was activated just a couple hours ago. So he's going to be playing, man. I think that will be big to stop in the run. And then it comes down to Josh will be Josh. And we saw this matchup a year ago with Sean Payton versus McDermott. The Bills won 31-7 and absolutely blew the Broncos out of the water. I think we'll see a good game, a tight game, but at the end of the day, this is the Bills' year to make it happen. I think Josh Allen does not go down. He refuses to lose. I think the Bills win this one. I really do. So thank you for the extra point.
It's the same narrative as last week. It's the same narrative. Jacksonville too good. Trevor Lawrence red hot. Wait till you see this defense. They're going to maul the Bills. It's the exact same conversation. All right, now we move on to the nightcap, Saturday night. Seahawks and Niners. Seahawks -7. So a 7-point favorite at home against the Niners.
Here we go.
So
let's see this.
Noodles, I'll be very
brain.
honest, Noodles. This is one of those things where, all year, and I know this is how Al's brother makes his picks, I've been pretty adamant that the Niners are legit. At one point I had the Niners winning the NFC West, So there's a lot of emotion in here to try and say, the Niners are going to cover the spread. But at the end of the day, X's and O's can only bring you so far compared to Johnny's and Joe's. Seahawks at home, this is a much, much, much weaker opponent when it comes to the Johnny's and Joe's. It just is. This is talking about the Niners. They're hungry. I played playoff games in this building at home. This is a massive rivalry, and if you go back to that final week of the season, that game should have been 30-0. Okay, it was way closer than it actually was in the score. Excuse me, the score was way closer than it actually was on the field. Again, unless you have a hunch, Noodles, and I will go with your hunch.
No.
If you have a hunch that it'll be close, you let me know. But I think we roll with the Seahawks -7. Look at that look on Al's bro's face. He's hurt right now. He's hurt. Sorry, Al's bro.
Hurt.
I'm with the Seahawks too.
Brock Purdy, man. He's the magic man. Always been a believer. Always loved Brock Purdy.
I've hated Brock Purdy from the word go, if you want me to be perfectly honest with you.
You know who we love? Al's brother, Robert Saleh. Bob Saleh is a big
Bobby
HBO
Saleh?
guy.
Bob.
Always has been.
Salah.
Guys, before the game, let's meet
yeah.
up in Al's brother's hometown and we'll run the stairs like Salah.
Love
That's
it.
what we're going to do.
Okay. We need a backdoor cover
we
here.
We should. Go up.
And we need a
Let's do
Darnold.
it.
Darnold seeing ghosts. He's already planting the seed. Ooh, the oblique's not feeling great. That's him. That screams planting a seed, right? When he starts throwing picks, it's not his fault. It's the injury report. I'm okay with the Niners and getting points here, Al's brother.
I love it. I wanted the Niners. We were in the text chain. I wanted the Niners, and there was a little bit of a pushback, if you will, from one of our members. So we're like, all right, let's make them have this decision. I mean, it's a divisional game. It's the third time that they've seen each other.
Wanted the Hawks?
It was O-Dog. O-Dog said that Seattle was going to destroy them. That's how he started.
The word I used, gentlemen, is slaughter.
Slaughter.
Well,
yeah.
O-Dog. Can I be honest with you right now?
I don't see
former
that
parts. Right now is the
still call
moment
me
you should
Parts.
be realizing you're on the wrong side. Yes, there was a good regular season, but as you saw round one, when it counts in the playoffs, you should be with the professional athletes. But instead, you're
Parts, I got to tell you one thing. I know Al's brother was never a professional athlete, nor will he ever be. But me and him are better friends than me and you ever were. We are so tight right now, me and Al's brother.
and if this goes south this weekend, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to be calling you guys saying, "Is there a waiver claim before the championship weekend?"
You awake? You up?
Yeah, you up?
Oh,
all right,
man.
moving
He
on.
was like, was it Eric Weddle a few years ago who just like jumped off the street and jumped onto a championship-winning team with the Rams?
Yes.
Brilliant
play,
Eric Weddle.
Brilliant play.
Yeah.
All right, Pats -3 at home against the Houston Texans. Al's brother, tremendous information.
Yeah, you know what? Like at first I was thinking it could be a bit of a difficult game, like that Texans great defense. But after looking into the numbers, cultivating some tremendous information, this is actually a very easy selection, fellas. A slam dunk, if you will. It hits the Patriots. Like, yeah, the Texans got a tremendous defense and an absolute unit when it comes to rushing the passer. But Drake May is the best performer under pressure we've seen this year. He's first in the league in yardage, completions, touchdowns, and quarterback rating when under pressure. So they may be able to get after him, but he's going to start picking them apart and move the ball down the field and continue to put up points like he's done all year. MVP, Drake May, I may ask. And on the other side of the ball, I mean, the Texans, that O-line stinks. They can't run the ball well. Timu Stroud, as he's now being referred to as on this program, he's a shell of himself, and he'll be without his top weapon, Nico Collins, who's declared out today. So, and you're going up against a defense that only allowed 3 points against the Chargers,
Yeah,
a
Pat's
much
defense was
better
great.
offense. Yeah, like they're spectacular. Mike Vrabel, great coach, and he has come up big and clutch in a lot of big games. So I think the Patriots cover this one by a field goal at home with ease.
Okay, I'm with you. I think we all are. Oh, you saw it the same way. We're going to lock that in. Pats -3. You know, the
layup of the week, boys. Congratulations on winning the regular season. Layup of the week.
Very stout, very stout. All right, Rams -3 at the Bears. Laying 3.5 in Chicago. It's a night game. It will be freezing. It's Chicago in January. It's going to be ice cold.
Well,
Rams laying 3.5.
Don't forget that hook.
And
you
the
guys
weather,
call the Rams and they win by 3. We're going to take this one.
It's a big one. It is.
Yeah. The
Although
hook
it was
does,
4 at one point.
Well, it's trending towards it. If you look on FanDuel, I think it's -118 at 3.5. So it's kind of trending to 4, which means the sharps and the money is still putting money on the Rams. And we are going to do that as well. I think the Rams come in.
Yes.
Look, the Bears, it's been a nice season for them, but 7 times they've had to come back late in the game and win the game. I don't see it happening. I think that they finally get put to rest, and I think Matty Stafford comes out and has a good game. But this is going to rely on whether or not the Rams can run the ball and protect the ball. If they can do those two things, I think they win this game with ease. And the Bears, 26th ranked run defense, and the Rams, number 1 in the running game in terms of DVOA, and they protect the football. They turn it over just 15 times, the 4th fewest in the NFL. So if they can protect the ball, run the ball, Matty Stafford will do his thing. Puka will do his thing. He'll find Devontae Adams for a couple of nice grabs. I think that they'll be able to put up some points here and win this one easily.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Rams defense down the stretch has been scary. Like, it's not been positive. It was not positive last week. It could be a shootout, but I think if it is, that still can suit the Rams. You know, I still think the Rams are in a position with their offense. I'd take a veteran in a game like this and Matt Stafford over Caleb Williams, regardless of how well Williams played last week. He was great. But I agree. Like, the Cardiac Bears, it's been a great run. Good for you. McVay, Stafford, Rams, lock it in, -3.5. All right, there you go. Picks are in. Picks are in. It's tied 4-4 going into Sunday, and it's 6-4 by Sunday night.
Whoa.
And we love where we stand right
Yes.
now. We love where we stand. All right, boys. Well, you guys have a perfect record. To your credit, you guys picked really well last week. We jammed you again this week. That will continue into next week. But the picks are as you see up on your screen. Noodleson is on Denver and Seattle laying points. All 4 favorites were picked here. We're on New England and the Rams. So I guess the dogs are not barking as of Friday afternoon. We'll see what happens this weekend. All right, boys. Good luck.
Stuff.
Full breakdown early next week. Great seeing you guys. There it is,
See
Luke
you, boys.
Wilson,
See you in the
Al's
group
brother.
chat.
I'm sure Luke would want to be a part of Al's brother's wedding, right? When that happens, we got to find a role for Luke.
Ring
right?
bearer.
Ring bearer.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
That'd be awesome.
All right, Mike Johnson coming up. Steve Phillips still to come on the craziness of the Leaf game last night. The baseball scene with Tucker Bichette off the table, and who else is still out there? Who could the Jays still pursue? Because they still have money now. Are they going to remain active? We'll find out with Steve into the next hour. OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
You got a VJ with his Honkas update? I need to know if this man's making the cut.
Where is he? Come on, VJ. I was just looking at him.
I need this man to make the cut.
I do too. He was 3 under. Sorry, he's still 3 under. Yeah, and he's through 16 today. He's on. He's going to make the cut. The cut line's -1, I think.
Dude, VJ, do not do something stupid coming down the stretch. I need you on the weekend with your glove, your full hat, and your honkas and a broomstick.
Yes, with your glove on as you putt.
Yeah.
Won't take that glove off like Jack Nicklaus for the putting.
Right, loves it. Yeah, take on that corner on 18. But like, what should he hit? Does he take the driver out or?
Dude, you told me I think yesterday this guy's mashing it out there at 330.
Yeah. He hit a ball 332 yesterday off the tee. That's massive speed off the tee for Vijay Singh.
Love it. Though.
All right, Vijay's 3 under and he's coming home.
He's
coming down the stretch.
He's
at
doing
the Sony. And our boy Nick Taylor was 8 under yesterday. He's still in the lead. He's just going out in the next hour. Man, I love that Hawaii golf. Love that Hawaii golf.
Love it.
It is a beautiful thing. All right, Johnny coming up. Steve Phillips. Best bet still to come. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
It's Mail It In Friday.
The plant called and said if you don't come in tomorrow, don't bother coming in Monday.
Woohoo! 4-day weekend.
This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
There has been a massive amount of hatred directed towards the Dodgers and what's going on with that organization. And let me just tell you this, if you're a fan of the Jays, anyone find a way to get the player. They just do it. I don't even remember hearing the Dodgers. Obviously, they're in on everybody, but it's almost like they went to Tucker's agent and said, circle back with us at the very end and let us know. And we'll just come over the top with the King Daddy Topper, and I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a variety of reasons. Living in L.A., playing for the Dodgers, probably winning a World Series. It feels like almost a lock. If you sign in L.A. over the next 3 or 4 years, they're going to win again. The money's there. You know, there's a lot of reaction has been, well, this guarantees a lockout and guarantees a salary cap, and possibly, I can't imagine the commissioner loves hearing from owners all over the league saying, really, the Dodgers are paying a guy $60 million? Like, Tucker's a really good player.
Yeah,
really
he shouldn't
good.
Be making 20. He shouldn't be making more
It should
money than
not
Aaron Judge.
be. Based on, relative to every other player in the league, him making $60 million a year is unheard of. Like, the Ohtani deal was crazy. This one is more extreme. This is way more extreme than the Ohtani deal. That was Shohei Ohtani. That was a long-term deal. This is a short-term $60 million a year. It's crazy.
It's
and then
ridiculous.
Cohen responded with Bichette, the same thing. All right, $42 million. You know, but you're right, like, the Jays could have given him $65 million a year. Would they be comfortable? Probably not. Of course not. Would it be ridiculed by other fan bases?
Dude,
yeah,
they already gave $500 million to a guy that hit 25 homers.
Yeah.
You don't need to do it again.
Right. But there are other owners that could say, we'll pony up. Now, a tie is always going to go to the Dodgers. That's very clear for the most part. Now, you got to question, too, Tucker's, you know, maybe his mentality is I want to make $60 million and blend in because it'll be Ohtani and Betts and Freeman and Smith. Like, this guy's going to be hitting like fifth in the lineup. You know, it's not even close to his team. Not even close to his team, and he's making $60 million.
$60 million.
It's crazy amount of money. It's crazy, and Bichette's crazy amount of money. And, you know, the Jays have spent money. This one stings. I think when you consider, you know, the Dodgers, I said it earlier that, you know, the Jays thought they could get Ohtani. It was real close. The Dodgers get him. They thought they could get that Roki Sasaki. Goes to the Dodgers. They thought they were going to win the World Series. Goes to the Dodgers. Thought they were going to get Tucker. It's like the Jays in particular being bullied by the Dodgers.
Soto as well to the Mets.
And Soto to the Mets. Yeah, but the Mets, they don't win anything. You know, like the Mets, go ahead, spend your money, good for you.
No, but it wasn't about necessarily. It was about winning that negotiation.
Yes, I hear you.
You remember the pressers when everyone was pissed off because Ross was like, we had a great time being involved in those conversations, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" He said he loved every minute of it. It's like, no.
Yes, and I think that's why this one it stings in a way because I think a lot of Blue Jay fans felt them going to the World Series was going to be a trump card for them. You know, like now Tucker wants to come up here because look how good they are.
They're that close,
Yeah, exactly. Where with Soto, you were trying to sell him to come to a team that had never won anything before. Ohtani the same. This was supposed to be like, man, you might be able to get Tucker. And, man, sure, Bichette wants to stay. It's the greatest clubhouse ever created. You know, these guys love each other more than anyone else. And he's left as well. But I think with Bichette, it's a deeper cut because he's been here for so long. Right. You know, Tucker was always somewhat of a fantasy. He's got no history here, hasn't played here. You know, Bichette, there's such a connection. But I think the fact that they played so well last year, and this opens up opportunities for guys who really played well. The fact that he didn't play in September, didn't play in the DS or the CS, and they still performed without him, softens the blow. You know, I think when the dust settles, Blue Jay fans would prefer to have him, but I think the majority of fans will say, good for you, got your money, we'll be okay without you.
I know, but don't you think Jays fans had it in their head, regardless of how successful or not they thought of the offseason, that it was going to be one or the other?
Yeah.
There was talk of both.
Yes.
Yeah,
started the offseason with reports that they are in on both. And you're right. Like, I still think they've had if I were to grade their offseason, a B+. Dylan Cease, Rogers, Okamoto, we'll see what he does as he transitions over to North America and what that bat looks like and how he looks. But they've been active. They spent money. But if you got one of these guys, it's an A+. Like, if either of them sign here, it's an A+ offseason. And I don't know if they can reach that limit now, right? Like, there's still some guys out there. Bellinger's out there. I don't know if he's a fit. A couple of other bats, a couple of other arms. But we'll see what they do. Maybe there's trades. There hasn't been big trades. It could be a trade. Could be someone else available for them. But you're right. It was a lot of focus on these two guys. Power bats, keep the party going. Best offense in the American League last year. Now
how many home runs did this guy hit? Didn't he hit 25 home runs?
Bichette? Or
No,
Tucker? Yeah, Tucker's not a guy that
Yeah.
mashes. He doesn't hit like 50 home runs in a year. He's like a 5 wins above replacement guy, 5-6 WAR guy. He's a really good player. Really good player.
Just not worth 60 sheets.
60 is a bit aggressive. But if you're the Dodgers, Noodles, you're like, man, we win every year. We make so much money.
22 home runs he hit.
22 home runs. Yeah. Left-handed bat, good player. Really good player.
I know a guy
60
that would
million.
love it if he hit 22 home runs and somebody paid him $60 million. Do you know who that guy is?
Mike
MJ.
Johnson, is that
Yes.
who you're indicating? Yeah. All right, here's Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. What's up, Johnny? How we doing?
Now,
Yes.
you're right. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or criticism, but yeah, I would gladly take 22 homers, 22 goals, whatever it might be. If it wants maybe 6 or 60, I'd gladly take it.
Yeah. 60's a huge amount.
60 is a big number. Although I read, guys, that the Dodgers, despite like massive salaries and everything else, they are making so much money.
Yeah.
With all their international sales, like the growth of their business, Ohtani, all the rest of it, plus the wins, and like they're not losing money, even if they don't win the World Series, despite these huge salary outlays. They're more than fine.
What would those paychecks look like? Rod Brindamore got mad at me one day because I opened the envelope in his stall with his paycheck in it, and I think he was making like $250,000 every 2 weeks, and I was just like, wow, man.
Well, you think, what, 6-month season, and so $10 million a month, $5 million every 2 weeks, mix in some tax, so the check would be for 2.8 every couple of weeks.
2.8 in your stall. Hey, Kyle.
That's
it's in your
cash out
stall.
the door. Out the door.
Nowadays, it's direct deposit, but I've played with players. I won't name a name, but I went over to a guy's house. There was like 5 checks sitting on his like dresser, like hundreds of thousands. Like the checks were like you were. There was like $1 million sitting there, and I was like, "Are you going to cash those?" Yeah, I'll get around to it. Like it was. I was like, it was insane.
Those are the best
like
stories.
The guy couldn't care less about the checks.
Yeah.
The best one was Dion. I think Dion put one in a frame.
Well, Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, maybe it was Ricky Henderson. He put it in a frame, and he's
$1
like,
million. Framed it. Never cashed the thing, I don't think. Ricky Henderson. Yeah, those are great stories.
Today, I'm the greatest in the world.
Greatest in the world.
Wasn't Ricky Henderson the guy that said, I played with a guy who had a weird helmet like yours? And
Yeah, John Olerud.
And Olerud was like, it was me,
Yeah,
you
it was
idiot.
me. I was on your team.
Teammate.
Yeah, I was there in '93. John Olerud. Used to play with a guy who used to wear a helmet when he played first
because
base.
Olerud wore the batting helmet in the field.
At first base, yeah, he played first
and
with a
stinky
batting
old
helmet.
Ricky was like, I played with a guy that did that before. And Olerud was like, yeah, bro, it was me.
We won a World Series together.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
You know? Oh, it's so good.
Close team. The winning teams are always so close.
Always. So you were down in Vegas last night.
Yeah.
It was a fun hockey game. Like it was
Awesome game.
It was a great hockey game. If you're the Leafs, how are you feeling today about the way everything played out?
I'm not feeling great. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, you can talk about the stuff they did well, and they did. They put up a 5 spot. They created chances. They're dangerous off the rush now. But I think, well, 2 things. One, the Nylander injury or aggravation. We showed it after he scored his goal. I think he tweaked his ankle in the celebration. And the fact that that's all it took to knock him out of the game tells you that he wasn't remotely healthy to begin with, right? Like, if he was 100% fine, that little stumble would have been nothing. But he's not. He's trying to work through it. So that is troubling if you're the Leafs. But more than that, guys, I think we've seen it a lot this year. And without Tanev, and the D gets stretched thin, and the forwards the way they are, and they don't play great in their own end. They have stretches occasionally, but they just don't play great in their own end. They just give up chances. Once the team gets in there, and Vegas is a decent offensive team with good offensive players, they were creating a lot, as was Toronto. Like, the offensive side of the puck, great, but I think I would be bothered by, we had 4 2-goal leads, including with 10 minutes left, and Rubik summed it up. Like, the Ethan Cowan penalty is a tough one. I think the 2-on-1 when Matthews' line went out there right after they scored a goal was that's not great fucking game management by that group. I think they'll be more disappointed with not having won the game in regulation because they did enough to do it, and it sort of exposed their warts, which is like the defending in their own end. They're just not great at it.
Yeah, and it seems, like when they have the lead in the third period, it really is highlighted, Johnny. Like it's old school. It's kind of got that Randy Carlyle era vibe to it, where they get into the third, they have a lead, and they're just not comfortable. They're not aggressive. They're not sharp with the puck. A lot of just flip it out and try to survive moments. Try to get a change because we're all gassed moments. Like, how often did that happen where you're like, man, you got to get a change here? Like, that's never a good feeling.
To the end of the game.
Yeah.
Right before last shift.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. They sort of stopped playing, and that's somewhat human nature. But teams that are more capable of sort of controlling it when they're in their own end, they can manage that a bit more. But the Leafs are at their best. I think I said it last night in the broadcast. When they defend further up the ice, right, either on their own forecheck or when they're good in the neutral zone and turn pucks over, they are dangerous. They are really good. And you saw it last night, some of the rush attempts they had, either off turnovers or forechecking chances when they get it in there. But once you get past that stuff and in their own end, and that exacerbates with a lead in the third period because, you're going to sit back a bit more, the other team's going to push a bit more, and that is what the Vegas 8th come from behind third period win. And I think the Leafs have lost the most games when leading after 2 in the entire NHL. So it's sort of, the perfect storm for both teams. But that's something they're going to have to clean up. And I don't know, with the personnel they have, how easy that's going to be. I mean, it's sort of mindset, but it's also ability. And I don't know if they're going to have to be great at it. They can be better, but to be great, I'm not so sure.
So, Johnny, you were there in Vegas. You got the atmosphere and all of that. Talk about we'll call it the Mitch Marner experience, right? Because that was the thought process. Both these guys were on the panel. To me, it obviously was a big storyline. Was it too much? Was it, did you notice him? How were the Leafs towards it? All of that type of stuff. When you're in the building, it's a lot different than us watching it on TV.
I think Noodles, I don't think it was too much. I mean, I think maybe factoring the importance to either team, we might have overstated, not to Mitch or not to Nick Waugh. It was hugely important to them. I like how Jack Eichel put after the game. We knew it was important to Mitch, so that means it's important to us. Like, that's sort of a good, we're good teammates kind of mentality, and I appreciate that sentiment. But, it was a Marner thing. What was interesting, if there's ever any doubt what might happen next week, there were enough Leaf fans to boo Mitch Marner when he had the puck on the power play for long stretches. Like, it was noticeable, audible boos you could hear through whatever else was happening in that building, and that building's loud anyways. So that was interesting. But what I thought was, Mark Masters had Tavares over the boards. He asked him a Mitch Marner question or two. Of course he's going to, and Tavares was very much, good teammate, great person. We're moving on. We're worried about this game and our team. The Matthews one, I've had enough questions about Mitch today, thanks, Mark, which was polite, stern, and saying, I'm over this. Like, we are friends. We had a great run together, but I'm not getting caught up in the nostalgia about, my old teammate, my old buddy, my old winger. Oh, I miss him so much. Like, that wasn't there at all, and I thought that was actually pretty healthy. Like, that whole attitude from the Leafs regarding Mitch, and it wasn't being rude, but it's like, we can't be worried about this guy. We got enough to worry about on our own, and that probably was appropriate to me.
So, Johnny, just from listening to your comments there, there is basically an uproar about Matthews' comments saying it was disrespectful. And my view on it was a little snarky, but I don't know. Mark Masters is a big boy. But there's the other side of it where people are like, you knew that question was coming, so just have the decency to answer. And my comment before in the first hour was, we give these guys crap for never being really honest, and he could have said, it's going to be great battling my old friend. We'll see him after the game, as opposed he said, you know what, I'm tired of talking about this. I'm ready for the game.
Yeah, you're exactly right? We criticize him for saying nothing, and then we criticize him for saying something that we don't agree with. You're damned if you do. And I thought, it was blunt, but he wasn't rude, and maybe most importantly to me, he answered the next two questions, unrelated to Mitch, really well, and articulated what he was thinking. He didn't just sort of shut down the whole thing. And, Austin has referenced that's enough about Mitch a few times this year, right? Remember in training camp, he's like, that's enough of this. We're not going to go doing this every day. So he talked about it for a couple of days, and Mark has to ask it. He has to. And I don't think Mark Masters is offended at all. He went right back. They have a good relationship. I like the fact that he used Mark's name. Like, Mark, that's enough. I don't really want to answer any more questions about this guy. And they moved on. So I wasn't bothered by it. The Marner attempted to playfully shoot a puck at his skates as they both skated off the ice. Austin wasn't having any of that. I think he wasn't worried about Mitch last night. He was worried about his team.
Yeah, and I think that'll be interesting the next time.
I'd rather have that, no? Wouldn't you rather have that as your captain than having a love-in with this former guy and then going out there and tapping each other's shin pads? We're playing. We got to have points. It's way more important than to be buddy-buddy with your old line mate.
Yeah, I get it, Johnny. I just want to chime in here quickly. I think people were pissed. They wouldn't have a problem with it. It's the way the game ended. So they're pointing to Matthews on the last shift of the game. They're pointing to, giving up the 2-goal lead. And then you put in, he's chippy with Masters. I think that's what compounded maybe some of the frustration or the criticism of Matthews. I always just look at it, how would Sidney Crosby, how would Jerome McGinley, guys that I either know or how they handle it, they might have said something different. And I think Matthews is a pretty funny guy. I thought he would have been like, all right, enough with that, Mark, and move on. He was stern because he's getting ready for a game. I get it. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I think it got a little bit more gasoline on the fire, per se, because of the way the game ended. That's kind of where I feel like some vitriol's coming.
And that's the more important element of the game, right, Johnny? He's on the ice. Eichel's his guy. Eichel beats him up the ice. He wasn't even close.
By 50 feet.
Yeah, by 50 feet. I thought the draw in regulation with 40 seconds left, that was a huge moment in the game, and he got beat clean.
Yeah, but hey, just for perspective, I think he was 14-4 in his own end the whole game.
Yeah.
I know it was the big one, and Eichel did something different. He bull rushed him. He cross-checked him. He didn't even go for the puck. He just sort of slammed into him, which maybe caught Austin off guard. But he had been really good in his own end. I do think, though, a couple different thoughts. One, I'm there, I'm watching it. I saw Austin when Riley missed the net. He was already buckled, right? Minute 25 in his shift. He almost elected not to skate back. He was so tired, he got upright against the boards behind the goaltender in Vegas, behind Aiden Hill, and was like, oh, my God, I can't even move. And by that time, Michael was top of the circles, and it didn't matter. But I think it maybe the overtime strategy and philosophy, we celebrate the greatness, but we sort of criticize when it doesn't go well. And they really do play an all or nothing. They are willing to give up glorious chances, breakaways for the opportunity to get a 2-on-1. There is no sort of defensive mechanism in their thought. And that's a strategy. But maybe more important, guys, and this is what we're talking about, with Tavares sort of maybe having some of the midseason fatigue, with Nylander going to be out of the lineup now. It has been out, actually, the last little bit at different times. How much is too much for Austin Matthews to play? We know he's a horse, and he's playing awesome, and he's got great energy. 26 minutes in Colorado, really tired, and then to go, whatever he was last, I don't even know what the number would have been, but it would have been a big one, and he gets points a game where he just is tired. And I don't know if that's on the coach for continuing to put him out there. I don't know how you solve this, because he needs probably a couple 3 less minutes in some of these games, and he gets himself in troubling situations, especially late when he's played already 22 minutes prior to that.
Right.
It's a great question. It's the Joseph Woll conundrum. Like Wool's playing a lot. He's not going to play tomorrow. I don't think they've announced that, but I'd be shocked if he did. I would assume Hildeby goes. And he's playing a lot. He's playing 24, 25 minutes a night, and
it's too much. He's like, how do I say, like, what's your phrase? Some guys skate deeper in the ice and some guys float on top of it. And Austin's a great, powerful skater, but he works, right? It's not effortless Paul Coffey gliding. He is chugging and working with that big frame, moving it around. And when he gets late in shifts, he can't go hard after a minute. He's sort of managing his fatigue. I just watching him firsthand. I'm like, he's got to do less. They got to ask him to do less sometimes.
Well, and especially last night, 4 different times you got a 2-goal lead. If you can't rely on your depth when you're up 2 with 8 minutes to go or whatever.
Well, Hayes, you're in the panel with Noodles where you're working, but I was sitting there 3-1 after 1, and I'm like, there's not a chance this game is over. And then I'm like, if they get to 5, I feel pretty good. But even then, you're like, you knew. And that probably says as much about how we feel about the Leafs' ability to shut it down. That at no point in that game did I think the game was over. That Vegas was out of it, despite time and again, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3. And still, you're like, 8 minutes, that's enough time. The way the game was getting played, the way the Leafs were playing. And that's, it's a new game. I get it. But you got to be able to defend the lead a bit more. And that's not just battling and clearing pucks and making plays, but also decision-making. Not taking penalties, not giving up odd man rushes, not taking bad routes, making it easier on yourself than just the actual battle around the puck and around the net.
So, Johnny, if you sat there and said there's no way this game is over, Brian said it on the panel, Duthie said it as well.
Yeah.
Like, does that just mean it's a personnel issue? Like, is that what we're getting at? Or, like, it's not like you guys are, like, questioning whether these D can get to their structure. It's a personnel thing where you're like, these guys are going to give up some chances here.
Yeah, but it's not just a defenseman personnel. Like, it's Bobby McMahon and Max Domi who are talented players, but they maybe don't, see the entire defensive side of the game as well as guys who play 18 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey against the other team's best players. You'd like them to, right? Like the role they're playing. They're Austin's wingers. They're playing against Jack Eichel. And they don't always, see all the defensive moments in a game. So it's not just the defensemen. It's sort of everyone. Like, I think in Utah you saw the defensemen sort of struggle, but yeah, I mean, they'd like someone who could skate better, pass better, move the puck out of their own end. But I think it's also the forwards helping the defensemen by not putting them in tough spots. And it's a bit of both, though. It's a bit of everything.
With Mike Johnson, our TSN hockey analyst, as for Marner himself, like what do you make of kind of the role he plays for Vegas and how you think he'll be prepared for next week? Because last night, home ice, yes, against the Leafs, but next Friday's the real dance. I mean, that's the one you circle rolling back through town for the first time.
So, I mean, as far as he played well last night. He had 2 assists, had another one called back. He runs the power play. It was almost like a reminder of how actually quite good he is at playing the top of the power play. Okay? The way he can sort of snap it around and, get shooters on the sides. And even though he doesn't shoot great, he sees the ice so well. The face-off, the centerman thing is interesting because he's not great on face-offs, but he is, doing a good job and offering up another layer, sort of 1, 2, 3 lines with Hurdle and Eichel. So he was good. I'm sure he'd be, pleased. He got a couple assists. They won. He had actually a bit of a muted reaction, didn't you think, guys, when they won? Of course, we had a camera on him on the bench when they won, and he was like, he didn't freak out. He was sort of like, he toned it down a little bit. Maybe he was trying to be polite to his former team, but that was interesting to me. But yeah, like he said, he didn't think about last night's game until the day before. That's not true. And he'll say it next week. I didn't think about this game until I got to Toronto. That's not true. And I had some conversations with different people, like fans around, and I thought, I'm like, yeah, he's going to get booed in this game. Then there were a lot of people like, no way. There's no way he should get booed. I'm like, I'm not saying he should. I'm just saying he will. And he got booed yesterday at home. So what do you think is going to happen? And even if it's 50-50 split, the boos will drown out the cheers for a lot of the game in Toronto. And I think it will hurt him. Like, it will sting because, he's from Toronto. He played awesome there. He is probably the greatest homegrown after Jeff O'Neill Toronto Maple Leaf ever, right? Like he literally is the greatest Toronto-born Maple Leaf of all time. And he's going to go back there for the first time, and he's going to get crushed, an avalanche of boos and negativity and vitriol and signs and all the rest. So, like, that wouldn't feel great, despite your own choice to leave and everything else. So I imagine maybe open his eyes a little bit to, if he thought there was a chance it might not be that way in Toronto, he knows now it will be.
Yep, it's coming. And we'll see if, everyone's asked about it again. I think they probably will be.
So what happens, Johnny, quickly, what happens when they give this shout-out video to him at the first TV timeout? Do people cheer then and then they continue to boo the rest of the game? Or is it just boo? Or do the Maple Leafs have to make a decision there and maybe shorten that video or do something just based on some vitriol?
I'm hopeful, and I actually think in that moment they will cheer, and the rest of the game they will boo. And there'll be some boos during that moment for sure, but I think the cheers will be louder than the boos during the tribute, and the rest of the game, the boos will be louder than the cheers. And I think that's, they're going to do it no matter what. And I think, we don't have the game, but I imagine they will broadcast the whole thing live. I don't think it'll even come out of break and show it. They'll probably have it live to watch and listen and see. But I think, Noodles, they will cheer then and boo the rest of the way.
Yeah. Someone tweeted in, Jacob tweeted in, saying, I'm going to be in the building next week, and I'm in the boo majority, but I will cheer and celebrate the video package.
Okay.
All right.
There he is.
There you go. So we got a Jekyll and Hyde.
It's kind of counterintuitive, but whatever.
Harvey Two-Face.
Doesn't make sense. Then don't boo then.
It's a weird play, like boo, and then the cheer. Then, hey, great stuff, though. Like,
I don't know. I don't have that psyche. I was on a broadcast the other day where Thomas Chabot stopped behind the net, and a fan was banging on the glass, just sitting there banging on the glass.
Glass banger.
I don't have that mentality. I'm like, what is that person doing?
Not many people do.
But
not many people do.
There's glass bangers that just literally bang on the glass.
Walking among us. All right, Johnny, we'll leave it there. We'll do it next week.
All right, fellas. Have a great weekend.
Mike Johnson joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. It's time to Toyota in the 2025 Prius. Go up to 72 kilometers on battery alone, then seamlessly switch to the hybrid model. Man, you got to believe Chris Drury would love that. Check it out at Maple Toyota near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. All right, Steve Phillips coming up on Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers, Bo Bichette to the Mets. How do the Blue Jays respond? If they don't respond with a significant piece, how do we look back on their offseason? Steve will join us next.
Tangerine Raptors basketball on TSN.
Sunday on TSN 1050, the NFL's divisional playoffs continue. The Texans head to Foxborough to face off against the Patriots. Plus, wrap up the weekend with the Bears in tough against the Rams. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Mail-in Friday brought to you by Boston Pizza's NFL Game Day menu. Stop by your local BP for $7 touchdown pints, dialed-in shareables, and weekly prizing up for grabs. Football game days are better at BP. What a weekend we have in the NFL. Tomorrow's a big one, right? You get the Bills playing. You got the Seahawks, Niners in the nightcap. You got the Leafs in Winnipeg, right? It's going to be a big one tomorrow. Yeah. Big one tomorrow. And,
lots of couching.
Carry it over. Yeah, lots of couching.
You're going to have to maneuver just like me, Hazy, with a hockey tournament. So those are always interesting.
Yeah, because we just got an update that I think a game has been added at night somehow. No. I got to look at the email. But there's like a 7:30 game now, which was not originally on the docket. So I thought, like, in other words, Bills' second half, we're on our way to the rink, I think. So it may be one of those at the rink watching the Bills kind of play, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're excited. It's going to be a big weekend. Big weekend. Yeah. Hockey tournament season. Right? Oh, you got to do it. Got to do it.
You got to do it, and you got to just bear down on the coffee and just get in there and cheer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You sit and enjoy yourself. Grab some popcorn. I always grab popcorn, sit in the corner, put my headphones on, watch the games.
Yeah.
It's great.
There you go. There it is. Put your headphones on. I love that play. That's basically a message to everyone in the building. Do not approach.
No, people approach, but I like sitting and.
No, it's great, Noodles, because if they say something, you just point at the earphones and you're like,
just give it the old. What's that? Sorry,
I take the earphone out and talk, and then put it back in if I'm listening to music or whatever.
All right. Okay, I got you. All right. So last night, Leafs lose in Vegas. And while we're there, doing the panel, news comes and we get texts from a bunch of people saying Kyle Tucker has signed with the Dodgers. And it's just an insane contract, like unprecedented deal. Short-term, $60 million a year, crazy. And then this morning, it's announced Bo Bichette has signed with the Mets on a 3-year deal at $42 million per. It's crazy. Now, neither of them went to the Yankees or the Sox, but neither of them are coming to Toronto. So how do we respond to this up here? To chat about it, we're joined now by our TSN baseball insider. Here's our good friend, Steve Phillips. Steve, when you consider – do we have Steve? I think we do. Yeah, we do have – he's over the phone.
Gotcha.
Okay, Steve, yeah. So in terms of, like, the Tucker signing, let's go there first. Is this a scenario where you look at it from a Blue Jay perspective that they could have matched, they should have matched, or was it just impossible to compete with the Dodgers?
Yeah, I don't think they had any chance of doing a long-term deal that would coax him out of this deal. And the only way to do it would have been to do an inappropriate, bizarre, outrageous contract on a long-term basis. I mean, remember, he came out of the season last year when Vladdy signed his contract. Everybody said, Kyle Tucker's going to get $400 million. Okay, that's 40 times 10. He's getting $60 million for 4 years on the front end of this. And so when you think about what's the way to maximize your value, 4 years at $240. Now, the present value of it's $57 million because some's deferred. But even that, he would have had to have gotten $450 million even to justify walking away from this short-term deal. And so I think it made sense for him to do it. He'll play this out, even though, he's got opt-outs, but he'll play it out. And then what he'll do is he'll try to do what Kyle Schwarber did at age 32, 33, turn it into a 5-year, $150 million deal. And you tack that onto the 240 and you're at $390 million, and nobody was going to $400 million with him. And so I think it made a lot of sense for him to maximize his value. It made no sense for the Blue Jays to chase it. And the amazing part was, the Mets were in. I thought they were nuts doing $50 million a year for 3 years. Then it was $50 million for 4. Then it was $55 million for 4. And I'm thinking, what are they doing? and then it turns into $60 million. And remember, the Dodgers pay 110% tax on that $57.1 million present value. He will cost them $119.9 million for 2026.
Wow.
Just him. And so, like, it's absurd. Now, they can do it. They can afford it. They've got the revenues to justify what they're doing. Their business plan and their baseball plan is rolling in the same way, and it's very successful. But nobody else can do that. And so, you have to let them walk at that point. There's nothing you can do, and you have to pivot to the next guy. Problem is, the pivot for the Blue Jays went to the Mets because they got crazy with him, and I think a knee-jerk, desperate reaction of signing Bo Bichette, who doesn't even fit for them, considering they traded for Marcus Semien, and they talked about wanting to improve their defense, and so they're now going to take a square peg into a round hole and Bichette try to play him at third. Then they're going to take the third baseman, Brett Beatty, and say, oh, we're going to move him to left field and pound another square peg into a round hole. So the Mets are playing reactive roster building, and it's really getting them in a hole.
Steve, so if you were going to grade the offseason for the Jays with them losing out on Tucker and ultimately Bichette as well, does that affect the way you're going to summarize the Jays offseason? Because there was talk about the Jays getting both of these two guys, and then they end up with none.
Yeah, so I didn't think they could afford both of them. But Dylan Cease, Cody Ponce, and Tyler Rogers in the bullpen is a really big improvement on the pitching. You're going to get a healthy Barrios back, a full year of Trey Savage. Then on the offensive side, last year was a lost year for Anthony Santander. But the step forward that Addison Barger made and Nathan Lucas made and Ernie Clement made, I think is significant. A full season of Dalton Varsho this year. The improvement for Alejandro Kirk. The Blue Jays have an easy possibility of being a better team this year with the guys they already have. And there is some part of adding Kyle Tucker that it was going to cut into at-bats for Addison Barger, which I wasn't okay with. They signed Okamoto because the clock was ticking. They didn't know what was going to happen time-wise with Bichette. They had to make a decision. Okamoto's a very good offensive player, and Jays fans are going to like him. Not a great defender, but Bichette wasn't a great defender. And so I think that he'll be good, and I think you're going to get bounced back for some guys and growth. I really still think the Blue Jays are the best team in the American League East.
Well, and that's the amazing thing about the reaction to this is, conventional wisdom would suggest as long as Bichette and Tucker don't end up with the Yankees or the Sox, you're okay. But the world of baseball is different because the Dodgers, everyone has to face the wrath of the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have been winning all of these negotiations at the sake of, the Blue Jays pursuing Ohtani and Sasaki and Tucker and the World Series, which the Dodgers came in and won. The Mets is just a crazy owner that's going to spend recklessly, but they still have an offseason. There's still some guys out there. Bellinger's still out there. The guys who they were connected to the most obviously were Tucker and Bichette, Bregman to an extent. There's some bats out there, some arms still out there, and the possibility of trades. Do you think the Blue Jays offseason is over? If it's not, what could you see possibly happening?
Yeah, so the question is, do they pivot to Cody Bellinger? He is Kyle Tucker light, is how I look at Cody Bellinger. Another 5-tool guy. He can play center. I think ideally the Jays wouldn't mind getting another outfielder that they control beyond the 26th season because Varsho's a free agent and Springer's a free agent, and so they'd like to have another guy. And the benefit of this is it's not going to take 10 years to get him done. He wants 7. The Yankees have dead stopped at 5. And imagine stealing Bellinger out from under the Yankees, and the Yankees at that point would have nowhere else to go. There's not a Bellinger-like guy out there, another Tucker guy or Bichette guy. But Bichette could have been a fallback, but the Mets jumped on it. And here's the thing. I think the Mets are going to be in on Bellinger too. And so I think the Jays, I'd like to see them pursue Bellinger and see if they can't make a deal there. He's an outstanding defender in center field. He can play left field. He's done a lot of left field as well. He can play first base and protect you as a left-handed bat there. And he's got pop. He can steal a base. And so he'd fit. And it would cut into some at-bats for Barger, and I'd rather not do it. But the idea of getting him and keeping him away from the Yankees for a year, it would be fantastic. Really good. And so, I personally think the biggest whiff that the Jays have made this offseason is not getting a closer. I think that they're a World Series caliber team in every aspect except the ninth inning. And listen, Jeff Hoffman's a really good guy, and I think he can be an effective pitcher. I just want him in the seventh inning or eighth inning. I don't want him in the ninth. I wanted Diaz, and here's the money. If you had money for Tucker, I would have put it on Diaz instead and gone with the position player group that I had. I would have put it on Robert Suarez and foregone my pursuit of Tucker in the group. Now the closers are gone, and you didn't get Tucker, and so and if you had that money, I would have spent it on a closer myself, and that's the one area that. But at the trade deadline, they'll be able to save some prospects and then go out there and get a closer at the deadline.
Yeah, Diaz went to the Dodgers of all teams, right? Like it's almost like we've forgotten about that, but the best closing arm available is also in L.A. And I think the trade deadlines is going to be really interesting because if they are feeling like they're short of power bat, you might be able to acquire one there. I think you're absolutely spot on in terms of Hoffman was – it was a roller coaster all year, and it ended somewhat
poorly,
predictably. Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, the Rojas home run, that's off him. Like we talk about Connor Falefo, we talk about the Clement hit the left field, we talk about Kirk hit into a double play. Hoffman closes the ninth, they win the World Series, and he couldn't do it. So we'll see what they do with that position, but. You look at it, there's a lot of chat now, in Toronto, and I know you've had it a lot too, Steve, in terms of what needs to happen next season with certain guys. Like I think Springer, you've got to expect him to come back to earth a little bit. Now, he can't crash through the earth, but he's going to probably come back to earth a little bit. Full season of Clement, full season of Barger. You mentioned Santander. He's effectively a free agent signing for me. Like his season last year, he didn't play.
Right.
When he did play,
they got nothing from him.
It was terrible. They got nothing. Like that's, I think, what you got to hope for here. If you're Atkins and company, he comes back healthy, motivated. If he can hit 40 home runs, okay, now you're laughing, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, give me 35 home runs, I'll be happy with it. And I mean, that's a switch hitter, so he gives balance to the lineup. Full season of Varsho, and Varsho's home run rate was fantastic when he came back in last year, and he's going to be motivated in a walk year to become a free agent at the end of the year. So there's a lot of reason to think the guys will be as good or better than they were last year. And you're getting full seasons out of just some of the guys who really blossomed last year, too. And so, full season of Yasevich in the rotation is, I think, going to be huge. I'm excited for the Jays for that, to see what he can do with a full season and the depth of that rotation. And, look, if they end up with that much depth, they can always trade a starting pitcher to somebody at some point to fill a hole if they need it along the way. But they're still going to be a good defensive team. We'll see what Akamoto can do at third, but overall they can move players around later if they need to make it fit. But I'm bullish on where they are right now, and I still think they're the team to beat in the American League East.
All right, Steve, we'll leave it there. It's been a pretty wild couple of days. There's probably going to be more to come before we get to pitchers and catchers reporting in a month. Great catching up with you, Steve. We'll do it again soon.
All right, you got it, guys. My pleasure anytime.
There's Steve Phillips, our baseball insider, joining us here on Mail It In Friday, brought to you by Boston Pizza's NFL Game Day menu. Stop by your local BP for $7 touchdown pints, dialed-in shareables, and weekly prizing up for grabs. Football game days are better at BP. Best bets and a recap on a crazy afternoon. We'll do that next.
Tomorrow on TSN 1050, catch the NFL's divisional playoffs. The Bills hit the Mile High City to take on the Broncos. Plus, the 49ers and Seahawks in the NFC West showdown. Coverage starts at 3:30 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
Quick update on your boy, VJ Singh.
Talk to me, Goose.
Come on, VJ.
Bogey 17, but parred 18. He's 2 under. I think he's into the weekend. Wow. The projected cut line is 1 under. VJ Singh, that was paying huge plus money for him to make the cut. Forget winning it.
You imagine that sweat when he bogeys 17?
I know. That's
it wasn't a million, wasn't it? It wasn't. What was that?
No, it was something 100,000 to 1 for him to win the tourney. Noodles?
Yeah.
Like making the cut, I don't remember what it was, but I'll bet you it was 30 to 1.
Yeah,
it
heavy.
Was like big time odds for old VJ. So, yeah, we're tracking what's going on out at the Sony. The Leafs are in Winnipeg tomorrow. Anthony Stollart's said I guess it's been a nerve issue he's been dealing with, but
oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, now we're revealing injuries. So yeah, sounds like that's the case, and he could return soon. Needs a couple more practices. But maybe next week, maybe when Marner's in town next Friday, Stolarz is playing.
That would have been pretty useful to the members of the media if he just had said that out of the gate. Then everyone would be like, "Oh, he's probably going to be out a while. I'm going to be out a while. I have a bit of a nerve thing."
Yeah.
And the doc said it's going to be a while. There you go, guys.
Yeah.
End of story.
Seems reasonable. But anyway, and Linus Ullmark, I guess, was back on the ice for Ottawa today.
Saw that. Skated full practice. But no timeline there, so that's interesting. Apparently, he skated by himself for 10 days now, so now getting back into it. So I don't know. They need him. They need Merrilainen. What did they won 2 in a row, and Merrilainen's played well for them in the last couple games. But you still need your highest paid player. He's their highest paid player. He makes $8.25 million.
Right,
sitting in the stands.
Yeah, got to have it. Most important player, starting goalie.
Yeah,
especially when you're out of the playoffs. You know, like the Leafs the rest of the way. We just talked about it. The way they defend, the way they handle playing with a lead, they've been a lot better recently. Way better. But they're going to have to get great goaltending. Like, you're going to have to get it to get in. So, yeah, we'll see what comes of it this week. The NFL, man, I am looking forward to these games tomorrow and Sunday. And there will be 4 teams standing the next time we're on the air. Will there be any more activity in Major League Baseball is a legitimate question. You know, Steve throwing out the Bellinger thing is to jam up the Yankees. Kind of an interesting thought. I mean, I don't know what it would cost. I don't know how much you want to commit to him.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not having a $60 million transaction to spite somebody else.
That's not going to happen. Yeah, Bellinger. Although I never would have thought Tucker's getting 60 or Bo's getting 42. So maybe he's looking at it saying, "Why can't I get 35 million?" 37 million.
Well, Bellinger's going to be like, I hit for more power than this guy. Why won't you pay me?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We'll see.
True.
We'll see. All right. Well, there you go. Leafs losing in overtime, but it was fun last night. It was great to be a part of the panel. I won the quiz. I actually brought the belt home.
Saw that. I saw that.
You embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed yourself when you held it upside down.
I know. Duffy jammed me so bad.
No, he didn't, dude. You got to have a little peek, and then you're like, okay, I won the quiz.
Yeah,
you'll never win it again.
Was anybody Pete Rose? Was anybody falling asleep up there?
No. Everyone was alive. Yeah, this is really embarrassing. It's upside down.
Look, he thinks he's so
Big
cool.
Smile on his face,
such a cool guy winning the belt. And then
I love it.
I asked later, I'm like, you got to give me a chance to redeem myself, which is nice of Duffy to do that. It's a busy show.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to redeem myself later, but I was getting carved online for that. Because I was playing it like I'm so cool.
I know. There was no fatigue, though, Noodles. We had a nice little dessert treat after dinner, and we were ready to rock.
Yes.
We
got after it. We had a great night.
Windows up dessert.
Windows up dessert. Old school European. The old school European dessert. Everyone having a good time.
It was an Italian drive back from the resto to work.
All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Quickly, we are on the Rams and the Pats. That's where we're at going into this weekend. Best bets powered by FanDuel. Must be 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. All right, enjoy the weekend. It's going to be a great one. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, and, of course, up on YouTube Live. Every show streaming live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at
Hedge and Jagger. He wears honkas. 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.
Canada's best curlers are out to claim the Scotties title.
Bang, bang. Oh, my. Look at this.
Scotties Tournament of Hearts on TSN.
Bichette and Guerrero. You can make a case there is no organization in baseball that has two prospects as highly thought of.
When you watch these kids play, Bichette and Guerrero, the future is very bright for the Blue Jays.
All of Canada seems to know who these two guys are right now.
Mr. Bichette is going to be quite a player.
He's one of the best hitters in baseball. I don't care who's pitching, how hard it is.
A 3-home run game for Bo Bichette. Man, oh man.
For the better part of a decade, it has been Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
We've been through everything together. He's like a brother to me. I love him.
Bo likes the big stage. This is a big stage.
Fly ball deep center. Edmonds going back. The ball is going long. 3-run home run. Bo Bichette. Bichette's first home run of the World Series comes in Game 7.
I know this could be the end for Bo Bichette, but for today, this is the arrival of what they've been working towards.
It's a disappointing end of an era for the Blue Jays as we welcome you into SportsCenter. It's Sarah Davis with you. So after Kyle Tucker picked the Dodgers over the Jays yesterday, the last domino fell today with Bo Bichette agreeing to a deal with the New York Mets.